racing up towards the furlong marker, and here comes Lester Piggott on Nyetimber. It's here on the far side, Lester Piggott on the near side of Nyetimber. Nyetimber coming and taking up from Shear and racing up towards the line. It's a miss for Lester Piggott. Nyetimber's gone clear.
Royal Academy, it's on Greek to me toward the inside. Here's the wire. Head bobbing finish. Royal Academy does it, and the living legend out of retirement, 54-year-old Lester Piggott pulls off the upset here.
Big warm welcome to patrons, first of all, to our Oaks preview. Yes, this is where we're going to go through Friday's card full of Andrew Cooper slop for us all to devour the racing tomorrow as we wonder what going it will be actually Epsom when we're actually racing. We don't know because he's probably lying. But anyway, joining me on this show to go through the bets and chew the fat are the two at the top of the naps tree, Jonas Lang and Quentin. Good evening, chaps.
Hello.
And last but not least, I've got him on this show in particular so he can burst and revel in his 100-to-1 patron tip, a soul sister that currently sits at 5-2 in the market with Luigi on board on his farewell tour. Jack, you must be excited for tomorrow.
Excited, Lee, but it could mean nothing in about 12 hours' time, but we shall see.
Yes, it's the Roy Hodgson gif, doesn't it? It enters the building. Oh, you're all set. You've got your knife and your fork and your steak doesn't arrive. Yes, anyway, right. Go on to best bets round. We're doing the usual thing as we do on Fridays, which is covering our best bets for the day, whether they're at Epsom or not, I don't know. But we thought we'd treat you to some best bets and get Quentin and John down a few points, try and catch them up, me and Jack. So we're going to... It's unbelievable tipping from you two. You're absolutely on fire. But that's good for our listeners. Doesn't matter who's doing it as long as we're doing it. 1 point round then. John, I'm coming to you first.
Right. Well, obviously, big day tomorrow. Oaks, Coronation Cup. So, Tilfiston, Carlisle. Open market. I think this one has every chance of an extremely soft lead for you cash-out fans. There's not much else even guaranteed to go prominent, I don't think. Run a stormer last time at the wholly unsuitable shithole Doncaster when was actually coming back for more at the end, so could have maybe even made a bit more use of last time. The yard in fine form, jockey's good from the front. What's not to like? 1 point win. 1 point win.
We'll give John a fair price. There's only one firm price up to now. That's Bet365 at the 92. Open market, Johnny, isn't that one that sort of pulls extremely hard?
This boy will settle this, no problem.
Okay.
But every faith in Samuel James.
So pulling its head off, but 9-2 for John. If that we can give him.
It's a
that.
fast drive, isn't it? I mean, he's been pulling like fuck over 6.
It is.
I think the fast drive's just going to soak down to the ground, and
yeah.
I think they've wrapped up toe out, to be honest.
No, it's a good point. Good point. Okay, we'll do a fair price thing with John when everyone else prices up. Come on to Quentin for his 1 point.
Yeah, you're like a bookmaker's version of Ofcom, man.
It's Martin Lewis, isn't it? Bookmaker's version of Ofcom is unbelievable. I'm just trying to stop complaints and people saying, "Oh, you're taking stupid prices."
Anybody talks like that, they don't even deserve to subscribe. Fuck off! I don't even want them to listen to me. Just out like that.
Fair point, well made. Quentin?
I'm going to kick it off in the 14.35 at Epsom Lee. Don't really like the top of the market. All the King's Men, they've reached for the blinds, but he went free last time out. Roscoelin's not in the same sort of form. He shaped better than the result last time out, but I think he needs genuine soft ground. Dutch Decoy did catch the eye last time, but fantastic foxes at Equine Cunt. Revic had the race set up the suit last time out. Pins dropped on Davis one, actually. Austrian Theory. He's shops and taking all the 10s, but still a bit of 8s kicking around. I think kind of anything above 6s is fair enough. Shaped better than the result last time out, doing too much too soon. Just at the horse at the top of his game, to be honest. Back down in the weights, he's on a mark of 91. He's one off of 94 when beating, I think he beat Garley, which is second favourite for the Hunt Cup. Just a horse in form. Doesn't look to be too much pace in the race by the 1-2 stall. Shouldn't have to go too hard to get a handy pitch. Not much not to like at the prices, to be honest. 1 point win.
No, 1 point win.
By the time that this goes out, that GTI Invalid Challenge will have had this knocked down to about 32.
Yes, Dick Davis, the bastard, he takes all the prices, tells everybody on Patreon as well, and he's probably harbing them all. He's sat there, he's had all the 10s and the 8s Dutch decoy, and he's sat there waiting to lay every cunt at 5s and 4s. Anyway, so Quentin agrees with Nick on Austrian Theory in the 235 Epsom. Thank you for that, Quentin. 8-1 is your price. That's Coral, Boyle and Labrooks. Jack?
Yeah, with all this good flat racing on offer, Lee, Oaks and Derby weekend, I'm off to the 1805 at Stratford for my first one. Am I fucked?
Oh, disappointed now.
Just thought I'd chuck that in. No, we are off to Epsom for the first, which is, as you mentioned, is a risky play given Cooper today. I don't know if anyone caught his interview, but he was more tight-lipped than a Tory politician. So God knows what we've got in store. But I'm going to take a play at something that I'm never going to win in my life, and that's a horse called Ballon d'Or for everyone's favourite team of Hugo Palmer and Michael Owen. Liked this one on debut. He got struck into really early in the race, which as a 2-year-old you'd have thought would have unnerved them quite a bit, but he stayed on really well, won the race. That form's worked out quite well with the 2nd and the 4th going in after that. Then went to Chester to Michael and Palmer's local, got the car park draw of 11, had to go forward really early and try and make most of the running. Did decent to finish 3rd behind a couple of half decent fillies. I know the seconds ran a bit of a mediocre race over in Ireland since, but not disgraced himself at all there. And I think up to 6 furlongs on better ground, the dam did her best work on good to firm. I thought he'd go in a little bit shorter than he has done. I thought the favourite was flattered by a pretty poor Bath. So yeah, quite happy to go for 1 point win on Ballon d'Or.
Good stuff. That's 5-1 with Paddy Power, Betfair, and Unibet. 5-1 okay for you, Jack? You don't want Betfair SP or anything?
No, that's fine with me, Lee.
When you were on about tight-lipped Tory politicians there, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't think Liz Truss is that tightly lipped now. not after Quasi's been through her.
Don't tell our friend Lorne Malvo that. He'll be disappointed.
No, he's a Penny fan.
He's a penny.
Oh, yeah. I get them all mixed up.
Yeah, it's the sword carrier.
That's it.
Jeez, eye on his lip. Good stuff. We'll come on to the Woodcote in more detail later on, of course, when we discuss the Epsom races at the end of the show. But that's Jack kicking off with a bet in the Woodcote for his 1-pointer. Already then, we have a klaxon. Because we're going to the 235 at Epsom as I finish off the round, and it's Austrian Theory. In fact, if Davis was on the show, it'd be a foghorn. Absolute foghorn. So it's the asthmatic horse klaxon here. Austrian Theory, 8-1 for the reasons mentioned by Quentin and Davis. If you look on Patreon, I clocked this in my sectional brief as well as going way too fast. Rated much the best of those on the pace at Chester. Think he might last a bit longer under Smoking Joe. So yeah, 8-1 for me to finish off the round. So a klaxon we have. Will it be a goat or not? Anyway, right, 2 points we go to. I might as well, as I'm talking, I might as well carry on. 3 o'clock Crapster. This is where I go for my second bet. And it's just going to be a 1 point reverse forecast on Some Nightmare and Connie's Rose. I'm just hoping there isn't going to be a rail bias at Chepstow tomorrow. If there is, then the forecast is fucked. But other than that, which they can be when they water at Chepstow, depends which way the wind's blowing. Hopefully they won't be. Connie's Rose was noted in my sectional report. She did ever so well to win last time, missed the break. She's unexposed at 5 furlongs. She had no right to win that race last time. I'm disappointed that they've run her up in class. There was a race on the 10th of June, the Thick Twats. They could have run in that in a Class 6 and been a short price for the same prize money, but no, they've come for the Class 5, so well done, lads. I couldn't be 100% confident she will beat Some Nightmare, who's been running in Class 4s, drops into Class 5, and the shrewd John O'Shea books Connor Planas, taking 5 off as well to boot. So that's going to be very difficult. But as I say, the only doubt for me getting that forecast up will be a potential rail bias at Chepstow. But that's not an early price bet, folks. What you can do is just wait. If there's a massive rail bias after 3, then don't do the forecast, would be my advice. Other than that, get stuck in. Jack?
Yeah, sticking at Epsom Lee and over in the 310, the Coronation Cup. Small field, but a good renewal this year. I mean, we got some serious class in there. And I was a little bit surprised by the price of Point Lonsdale. We've seen him a couple of times this season. I found his run at the Curragh hugely encouraging. We beat Visualization, who's gone again since in the Moorsbridge. He didn't look fully cooked that day, in all honesty, and I think he did very well to find and win. And actually, whilst a few people have crabbed his run at Chester last time out, I was impressed because the horse looked to absolutely hate every second of it. I mean, Ryan was having to get busy for the whole second lap. So the fact he's come out and won that, he seems a very genuine type. I think Aidan's done a magnificent job to get this one back to where it is. And I just get the feeling tomorrow that we've got, a few horses turning up here. Westover, I listened to comments on him today. He's got, working back from the Arc. Emily Upjohn, never really too keen to take on a Gosden first time filly, first time up. Hurricane Lane, dubious on that last run. I know they stuck the pieces on that seemed to wake him up, but I don't think he's the horse he was. So I thought there'd be a few looking further on from tomorrow in this race. And I thought this could be apt to say this weekend, of course, it could be Point Lonsdale's Cup final. I think stepping up in trip will suit. And he just seems a genuine type who keeps finding. So was quite happy to see him in at the price he is and happy to go with 2-point win.
Good stuff. And that's if you have got William McCarthy, it's 11-2, but Jack gets 5s. That'll be with BetVictor SpreadX. The Ofcom of the podcast has spoken, and Jack gets 5-1 for his deux points on Point Lonsdale, and we'll come onto that race obviously in more detail at the end of the show. Quentin,
2-point bet comes in the the Surrey Stakes, 17-10 at Epsom. Keen to oppose kind of some of the high-rated rivals. Holgreen's the right favourite. Don't really like Streets of Gold, small, not grown an inch since last year. Olivia Marmalade. I'm going with. She's called Marmalade now, Lee. Don't like that form. Secret Angel, well positioned at Lingfield. Gandhi's Aliz, best form at HQ, but she was on the stand side that day. The one I've fallen down on is He's a Monster. Physically a decent looking 3-year-old. Best form's coming to all weather to date, but clocked a smart old figure last time at Kempton. Did plenty wrong before the race, and they've had the knackers off, and I think that's going to do him the world of good here. Doesn't look to be a hell of a lot of pace on. If Holly can get him rolling down the hill, I think he's capable of getting the jump on these. Surprised he's 14-1 because he's kind of up against the load with decent 2-year-old form, but have yet to show it as 3-year-old. So I think he's very much a 3-year-old and one to keep rolling throughout the season. 2 points win at Betfair SP, please.
Betfair SP, no problem. Yeah, that's if you have got 888 Betfair and Paddy's, it's 14s if you want to take it with the books. But Quentin wants Betfair SP for tipping point purposes. Interesting. Don't come on to this race later, we might do, but interesting you said that about Streets of Gold. I thought the same, Quentin, at Newbury. When I saw it at Newbury, I was surprised. Like, literally, it's made no physical progress whatsoever, has it? None. Zero.
No, exactly. I don't think that's going to show anything this year, to be honest.
No, it was one of my favourite horses last year, obviously for obvious reasons. But yeah, like you say, it's here and now, and I agree with you. I think Holguin is the right fav, but it's short enough, isn't it? 11:08, but it is the right favourite. It deserves probably a race of this nature for its consistency. But Quentin goes with a nice big price one there, and it's 3 from 4. He's a monster. Likes it physically. Thanks, Quentin. John,
just shoot that Streets of Gold now. We're having money out of this, fuck it.
Yes.
Evening, all you animal rising fans out there. How are you doing?
A few spies on the Patreon, I reckon.
405 Carlisle. Ludo's Landing. Only 2 runs this season, both on unsuitably soft ground. Utterly impossible task last time behind the incredible Docklands. Back on good ground, blinkers applied, back to the venue with his one career win. No obvious pace in the race. The King of Chester built for the ride. If we can't do some damage here with this, the quilt's killed him.
This is not a big price, that either.
No, it's not.
Yeah, right. So what price would you like, John?
Oh, 28 to 1.
off comes ruling. So you can't have the sixes with Denise because that's standout.
I'll have slightly less than sixes then.
So it's I'm willing to give you the fives.
That's fair. Yeah,
It's 9 to 2 general after that. So fives the 8 to 8. It's behind the biggest price that the Bet365 traders are holding for their trading staff.
I consider being a wanker there and going each way I want. I'll stick with 2 points win.
Good stuff. 2 points win at 5 to 1 to steep more pressure on Quentin Franks at the top of the table.
It's getting tense, isn't it?
It is. It's tense between you two now. You just blitzed it apart early. You've absolutely savaged it.
It's like Minnie Caldwell and Ina Sharples having a showdown in the 1970s versions of Coronation Street.
And
battling it out, pulling faces at each other in the snug.
Right. Okay, we're going to move on to the big boys round now. This is for big boys, bigger boys. Be gamble aware round this. This is the one where you just throw caution to the wind, stick all these in a big lucky 15. Right, Quentin Franks.
Well, if it's tense now, Lee, then it's going to be even tenser at 4:05 at Carlisle. Me and John are going to go duke it out on the cobbles. He's 28 about his selection. I want 25s about mine. The only difference is mine is a 25 poke. Horse in question is Two Rivers. Like this last year, showed little at Carlisle on debut, but caught further back than ideal in a steadily run race. There was signs of life at the line. He was just keeping on through the line, and it was a step forward. First start, they got a job done here. Dropped it back to 6 furlong. It really didn't suit. He ended up on the wing, racing into the teeth of a headwind, and just patently wasn't suited by the drop back in trip. Outpaced and kept on through the line. Like, he ran through the line really well. Time in isolation was okay. Makes his mark a lot. 61 look more than fair. He's been close to rate. He's got close enough to horses rated in the 70s. So I'm surprised he's got 61. You kind of look at the race. A fair few I want to be against. United Force, that race fell apart at Leicester and the Bog. Slipping Jimmy's yet to show it on turf. He's shown it on the all-weather. Crystal Clear, not really sure. She got a mile. Ludo's Landing, I do get the case. Yeah, no barriers, soft. 25s is far too big on this Two Rivers. First start for the yard, given it's in a higher grade than it needs to be, may not be off, but at that price, I can't let it run free. 3 points win.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment there. I'm amazed they've put that in at 25s because the thing is, you might be your own worst enemy here. You put 3 at 25. All our listeners will be like smashing this into about 7s come 9 a.m. and then they'll just go, nope.
That's the downside, but give me some sort of satisfaction getting a bit trying to extend the lead at the top of the table. So we'll see.
Indeed. It's a great selection, Quentin. So 3 points at 25s generally available on a big price. Two Rivers, which is of course very unexposed. Thank you to kick the round off with that mammoth selection. Okay, I'll go second, then John, then Jack to finish. The 3-pointer for me goes in the 6:15 at Doncaster. I might upset John a bit here. I'm going with a Gobby Rog horse. La Trinidad is available at, I'll not take the 11 to 2, but it's 5 to 1 general, and it's a 3-point win bet. Now, La Trinidad, as you know, has contested a lot better company than what he's facing in this race. It's dropped to a Class 4, made his reappearance in a Class 3 at Redcar, missed the break. And the way he got into this showed he's alive. He's not dead. And Gobby Rogers always need a run. He's very rarely tuned up after an absence. So the way he just like sluiced through them and got to sort of, contention and then just sort of faded out of it late really brought my eye to the fact that this horse now is looking very well handicapped. And this race, it's full of horses that really aren't well handicapped. And this is the ideal scenario for La Trinidad to get Gobby Rog back to York in August, John, because it wouldn't get in at York if he doesn't go up another 6 or 7. So I reckon this is the one that Gobby Rog wants to land with Johnny Pate in the saddle. And La Trinidad, for me, I think he's a very, very strong bet around 5-1. I cannot, if it gets beat, I think you'll be desperate because it goes close. It'll either, I don't know, dog it on the line or finish second or whatever, but it goes close. It's a great bet at 5s. I'd have this about 9 or 4, 2-1, maybe tops. So La Trinidad, for me, 3 points win at 5-1. Okay, John.
Hello. We're off to Catterick. 8.25 for an absolute smash up, joke it out, bare knuckle match up. You've got Thick Dave against the Head Turner. And there's only one way this is going. The Head Turner's riding one that's only run once and was hard to settle. This is 6 at Catterick. Harry Eustace is about as experienced at Catterick as I am at ballroom dancing. So he's going to tell the Head Turner to settle this. Thick Dave is going to prang out the boxes and have this put to bed turning in. He rides this place like his missus. The Head Turner is probably consistently proving she's gone at the game, whizzing round here over 6 in a decent sized field. She'll be shitting herself. Northcliffe has been in some fair battles already. No luck whatsoever at York last time, for instance, in a nice race. He'll think he's on his holidays here against this scrap. 3 points win.
What a lovely voice write-up that was. That's why our listeners love you so much. 7 of 4, Bet365, William Hill and Bet
Money for old rope.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's what we like, confidence. I said do a lucky on these. It'd be massive. As long as Quentin's is off.
This
could be enormous. Right, Jack, finish us off.
Yeah, well, we're sticking at Epsom, Lee, and we're off to the 3.45, the Betfred Handicap over 10 furlongs. And 3-point selection is Massacala of Andrew Balding. I've had this one in the tracker for quite some time. It was a very fiery type last year. Ran in pretty much pattern races for the entire season. I mean, his standout effort was a 4th in the Derby. I don't think he was flattered by that. I think it was a strong performance, and that will still turn out to be a decent Derby. And yeah, he was milling around, top company for the rest of the season. They took the knackers off at the back end of last year. I think he's had a couple of sighters since then, most particularly his last effort where I thought the train driver, Mr. Hornby, just got it all wrong and tried to go too forward too quickly. They've got him down £5 to a mark of 99. I still think this is a decent horse. And at an each-way price tomorrow, I'm quite confident we'll see a better showing on a track that he clearly likes. So, yeah, quite a confident 1.5 points each way, please, on Massacala.
That's 11-1, generally available, 4 pegs.
Take 4 pegs.
Yes, we love the extra places for Jack, and that finishes the round off, folks. So we've done well there. We've got a Claxon stroke Foghorn if you count Davis's patron selection earlier on. Like I said, he's a bugger. He's gone round in his 3-wheeler taking all the big odds. It's what he does. He ruins it for everyone. I shouldn't have published that. We should have had the 10s. Anyway, on to the TV races then tomorrow. And well, actually, if we can get through the Epsom card, we'll try and do it fully. So 2:00 first, it's the Woodcote, and Hartham heads the market at 7-2 with Jack selection Ballon d'Or second in at 5s. John, I'd like your view on the race first, please.
Pace collapse, I think, and I think Bobsleigh might be the one to benefit.
Kind of suits this course, that name, doesn't it?
Yeah. If only it was snowing. And
might be, you know what
at least I've no idea what the ground would be. So yeah, I think Bobsleigh's in a handy box there to capitalise on a pace collapse. Was nicely backed on debut. There's been a bit of money for the horse, and she's a bit nifty with these early set 2-year-olds. I don't mind her with this sort of tool. So yeah, Bobsleigh. Whoosh.
He nibbled as well as Bobsleigh.
Yeah. Shroud.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Hartham, though, John, you've mentioned this in your paddock stuff before, and
I got away with it on Saturday with a Pat Dobbs winner, didn't I? Not bloody Stewart there, not to push me luck twice.
So you're thinking
you're
thinking Pat Dobbs at 7-2 was no appeal?
He did on Saturday, but Tracy had about half a stone in hand. This hasn't.
Yeah.
It's all right, this horse. As I say, I just think that Bobsleigh got a quiet ride off Dorky Charles Bishop. Could end up with this dropping in his lap. That's my theory.
Okay. Thank you, John. That's John's theory on the Woodcote to go with Jack's selection Ballon d'Or. Quentin?
I found the race toughly. I don't really... Normally 2-year-old races, I've kind of got a semi-strong opinion, but I thought this Woodcote was tricky as could be. Ballon d'Or, I've kind of got ground and trip doubts about. Yorkshire Terrier, I think, is all 5 and all speed. Valor and Swagger, I don't like. Yet there's 3 that are single figures, but I couldn't find a bet in the race. I know you liked Hartem on the debut sectional upgrade. I like the Camden Colt as a type, but in terms of having a bet, I couldn't find a thing. Maybe a small play on Valor and Swagger. I don't really like the level of its form it's shown to date, but I'd be clutching at straws, in honesty.
No, for me at the prices, I just thought this was kind of difficult because obviously I did like Hartem, but he was sort of 6s and 5s when first put in. And I thought that's not bad. 7-2. Now we're getting somewhere towards the right price. I did like Jack's Ballon d'Or. I know I mentioned the first 2 in the bet here, but obviously at Chester he had a ridiculously bad trip and shaped incredibly well. Shaped much the best in the Lily Agnes. So I understand why Jack likes this. Jack, anything to add in terms of like anything that sort of you like elsewhere than Ballon d'Or?
Oh, I like John's angle on bobsleigh, to be fair. I looked at the last, quite a few of the renewals of this race, and it can suit a prominent runner, but if there's too much pace on, there could well be a bit of a collapse there.
It's an awful race to watch, isn't it? If you're backed one depending on a pace collapse, and the front rank are all just going nicely within themselves, you're just kicking yourself up the arse after a furlong, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible track for a 2-year-old, really. So you've got to have a bit of a sound mind about you, as they say, to go around here. But use a horrendous race.
Isn't it a wonderful man? Yeah.
A wonderful mind. Richard Hannon, of course, has won this 6 times in the past. Him and his dad. I suppose you got to bring his dad into it. The last one was De Bruyne Horse, if you remember that.
As I mentioned, Lee, the most fascinating bit about this race is Christian De Muro riding for Craig Lidster. I mean, how the fuck's that happened?
Absolutely. As mentioned, a Sheffield Wednesday fan, Craig Lidster, so shout out to Craig Lidster. And he's obviously got Christian De Muro.
He's obviously a big Lee Keys fan. He's got your colours.
Absolutely, that's it. The racing club colours. He's pinched them for his own racing club after I packed in earning them. He did bring me much luck. I don't think he's going to bring him much luck. Right, 2:35. We come on to the £75,000 guaranteed race here, which I found incredible in terms of the quality on offer for it. It was good prize money this for a handicap, and you've got Revich top rated off 98, John.
I know, some proper shit boxes in this to say it's for big money, isn't there?
Well, they can't complain. 38.5 at winner, 18%. You know, it's not bad, this. Good money.
You know, they must all be hiding in King Kong.
Well, that's it. That's where they've all gone. Yeah. And Dubai and Saudi Arabia and Bahrain.
Right. Don't forget Bahrain.
You have to say it right as well. If you notice, all commentators have to say it. Bahrain.
If you don't say it like that, you're not allowed in.
Not sure I would be anyway, to be honest.
I don't think you would, Jack, to be honest. No. Chelsea football thug. Anyway, 2:35. All the King's Men ends the race at 5-1. Quentin sort of summed my opinion up of the horse at the prices. Couldn't have that. And obviously me and Quentin and the 3-wheeled London Raider has gone for Austrian Theory. So, John, what's your thoughts on this?
Oh, I'm all in behind the Millwall Raspberry myself. Yeah.
It is. This might pay for his summer. This is what he like. He's hard.
Yeah. If we sat there watching this price collapse now, we'd be thinking, well, that's 3,000 worth of 4 points to nout.
I know he's like that. He's like that, is Dave. He's terrible. He's on the Derby show tomorrow night, so look forward to Davis's opinion. Jack, your views on this?
Yeah, look, I like the case. 3 sound judges have made their case here, so I couldn't argue with that. All the King's men completely agree with Quentin. I mean, that was meant to be a Royal Ascot horse. I mean, they're a long way away from that. I don't think that's really kicked on. I just really, really don't want to see Fantastic Fox win, because I just seem to get that horse wrong every single time.
We've got to give up on that, Jack. It's a gunner in the nut, isn't it?
You'd think so. I mean, he's £5 below his half decent third here last year, but yeah, I've got to let that one go.
This needs to go to one of them famous freshening up merchants, doesn't it? You know, I mean, the longer it stays with Dorothy Roger,
Roger, yeah, no, I agree.
Mogadon, man. You know, I'm just looking at these above Austrian theory in the betting, and they're up against some shite there, really. They're rich, they have a bloody wins. Fantastic Fox is a Goomba. Dutch Decoy, why is Neil Callan riding the preferred Johnston one? He isn't. Ross Colline, good God, we don't want the cockwatchers having a winner at the Derby, right? And then nobody knows anything about Bowie, so forget him. Yeah, he's going to piss up, isn't it?
There's not much depth, I admit, in terms of potential in here. So, yeah, I'm very hopeful for this.
Have you got 4 pegs, Liz?
No, I was win only. Davis win only. And Quentin win only. Quentin
Davis is free bet now, isn't he? 7-11 spots. Davis, you'll give us stuff how it gets on now.
He's got his 4 points in the bank. He's got £800 and nothing. Pays for the Eckies. Right. Move on to the 310, which is obviously a nice renewal, really, a fascinating renewal in terms of trying to solve it. It's the Coronation Cup, headed by Westover at 9-4. Obviously, Jack has come up with Point Lonsdale, and this is horse. I know you like John in particular, in terms physically, you just were all over this on reappearance. So I'd like to come to you first to get your thoughts on this.
I thought Lonsdale had done incredibly well over the winter. Really filled his frame. Terrific specimen as a 4-year-old this year. I'm not convinced he wants 12.
Oh, right. Interesting. Everyone else does.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. Not to the extent where I want to bang in out at 4-1 here. Even though it might be falsely done. No, I'm not sure.
He's going to be the front runner, though, is he? I would think.
Well, I mean, he made a running last time. That, again, would dent my confidence a bit. I don't always fancy Ryan from the front round here. I think it's a bit of a scabby race to call this. If you assume Point Lonsdale might not get it, you've got Hurricane Lane that only kind of returned to form last time. Emily Upjohn and Westover, they ran absolute stinkers in the King George last year, didn't they? I mean, let's be fair, they were shit.
Yeah.
Were they in any worse form going into that than they are of this? There could be a hole in both of them. I keep looking at it and the prices, and I think maybe the solid play is the German Panzer down the bottom.
Tons.
Yeah.
He's got tons in hand, John.
Could have. Yeah. Well, maybe not tons in hand, but it's not far away on Racing Post ratings.
Yeah.
And it's double the price of everything else, and it doesn't seem to have blowout.
Peter Schergen, the trainer.
He sounds like he should be in goal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he said I'm very optimistic. He said I think he's good enough.
I think he's got every right to be optimistic because he could be up against 3 crackpots and an on-stair.
Interesting. So, so the German horse for John. In fact, if it had been by Elderflug.
Oh,
yeah, he loves it.
John loves an Elderflug. Watch him in the art previews. Good stuff, John. Quentin.
I thought it was a brutal race to kind of work out. Honestly, I think Tons probably goes forward. Unlike John, I thought Point Lonsdale did want 12. But just the way he was on and off of it at Chester kind of leaves me with concerns in the back of my head here about, is it going to be similar? Is he going to be ridden on along at an early stage? Hurricane Lane, what was the form last time out? The yards hardly flying at the moment, are they? Emily Upjohn, Jack said, like Gosdens generally aren't up and firing fillies first time out this season. And Westover returned at Maidan, decent run there, coming from off steady fractions. But I know John thought it was a long way back last season after, I think it was the King George, wasn't it? And they've gradually got him back. But there's just question marks about everything, to be honest. Just a bit of ground doubts about Tons as well. Just a brutal race to bet in and really have a strong opinion about. So a pass from me.
Kind of is that way. I'm sorry, listeners, to sort of echo what several contributors have already said, but Emily Upjohn, the key to her will be trying to settle her. She did immensely well to win that Fillies and Mares sort of champion. Obviously, that's below her pay grade, but she was immensely keen and did a lot wrong in that. And I think it'd be down to Frankie's set. Westover, like John pointed out, the King George last year, he boiled over. He just completely got in the head. After that, it's hard to sort of trust what he's going to do. Hurricane Lane, like you've just said, Quentin with the form, absolutely nothing in terms of this sort of contest. So, and Point Lonsdale, I don't like a front run around here over this trip, and I think that's what they'll do. They'll front run. I can't get involved with front runners a mile and a half around this. So it comes to the German horse, which could be a token bet. That it's got some decent form. That it's just the fact because it's German and it's 11-1. But
if it was cars, you'd be looking at it.
Yeah. I did watch the Japan Cup, and it finished 9th, and it missed the kick. It didn't run a bad race at all in the Japan Cup. This can run. So there's no wonder there's nibbles on this, like you said, with doubts about them all. And we've expressed them all as a team. So that's an interesting analysis. But, I do.
Never underestimate the Germans.
No.
Penalties.
they always
penalties, invasions.
And they even have the best names like Stefan Kuntz. That's the best footballing name of all time, is it not? I mean, you can't get better than that. Especially when John Motson, BBC. Do you remember the days when he used to like he's shouting the players' names and it comes across Kuntz?
Do you remember that free kick specialist, Rainer Bonhoff? He outsmarted Ray Clements every time the Mets beat for England and Germany or Borussia Mönchengladbach against Europe, Liverpool. And there's videos of him taking free kicks on YouTube. And there's one, if Clements had got in the way of it, he'd have gone in the fucking net with the ball.
It was a proper Johnny method.
Oh, yeah.
I
think that's probably the most solid angle into the race, to be honest.
It is. We describe it in our own way, but we
remember Rainer Bonhoff, so we're back in the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, there's the German downhill skier, Fanny Schmeller. I mean, she was a World Cup downhill skier. And, of course, the Germans have the best names. They have the best names, and they have the Alderflugs, which, of course, are pivotal to winning in the autumn. So 345 at Epsom is the Betfred handicap on it on his 4-1 fav. We've had Leng loves his Toshizu, but not in this.
No.
Yeah, that's what I said. You don't love it in this.
This isn't part of the project at all. I mean, what the gobster's doing here, I do not know.
I was fuming they put this in here, to be honest.
Terrible, isn't it? Terrible bit of placement.
Gobby Roger will be at Doncaster there. Because we know...
Well, that's a good reason not to go to Doncaster, anyone out there that's planning a trip. Just don't go, because you might have to talk to Gobby Rog. Telling you he's considerably richer than you.
That worked out well for John Dancer, though, has it?
Not really. No. Well,
No, he's
paper millionaire. This is what happens.
Yeah. This is what society creates. Anyway, back to the 345, of course. So we've had a tip in this from Jack, and it's his big bet on Masakela. And I kind of get that from the fact that if you just take certain segments of last season's form and off 99, red balloons here. I mean, this is good, isn't it? O'Sheen. 11s, I kind of like the sort of comeback to form. Oh, it was obvious there. Look at 99. It's a good mark, isn't it, John?
It's all right. Yeah.
If it's there, if it's all there.
Yeah, and there's no reason to think it's not. I'm just wondering how long it's going to be before they get sick of Lord Protector. I mean, Race must be thinking, well, I've had it right for about 5 runs now, and 4 of those runs have been shite. What am I doing? Can I really train horses? I mean, dear God, since York last year, this has looked barely alive. It's needed the Steve Austin treatment, hasn't it?
You're biased here, though, because it's German sire and German dam sire. So I can't have any of it. That's what you look for now. You love the Germans. It is. And the train driver. 25s, though, John. Are you giving it a chance?
I don't think I can, to be honest. It's been so sick with him for 4 runs. Before York, it was screaming that it had a race of this nature in it. But the 2 runs this year, my God, corpse.
Okay, Quentin?
Like Jack's case for Masakela, can see that kind of. You feel he's half been aimed at a race like this, given the owners do well at Epsom, the Italian owner people. Down £3 went well enough for long enough last time out, I felt. The other one, I'm not, the favourite looks the wrong favourite, to be honest. This Honiton looks very short.
I agree.
Felt Dual Identity shaped much the best that day, made a move from off the pace, off a steady fractions, and just blew up towards the end of the race. I'd probably have Dual Identity and Masakela both shorter. Bad Company ground's probably too quick for it. Maraba the champ. It's interesting they've gone the tongue tie with that, given he finished off his race perfectly fine at York last time out. But Dual Identity and Masakela is probably a small Dutch for me.
Yeah, interesting that 2 wind-ups now from Mahaba, the champ, which appeared to work at York last time, very strong at the finish. On that form, it'd be very competitive, but obviously the price also says that. Savvy Victory would probably require a very good pace to run at under Brian Moore. Yeah, I agree what everyone said, really. Cadillac, by the way, what a terrible buy that was from Jungle Juice Jesse when they put that through the sales for $500,000. This horse, I want anyone to watch this horse on its last run. It looked absolutely dead inside. It was like completely done. It was like between 2 and 1 out. It just didn't want to try. They put the pieces on. I think this would need some fuel injection. This is just, it's absolutely, I don't know. The horse for me is gone, completely gone, but could be wrong.
The right man. Some old turbo.
They got the benefit of Mr. Kevin Stott, and I'm sure there'll be some pressure for a couple of winners on the telly, will there not?
Well,
don't tempt me.
Tune in on Sunday for the sermon for the next part of the Stotts.
Let's go with the Stotts.
That's it with the Stotts, yeah. Right, okay.
So sounds like you've got a nasty disease, doesn't it? And you can't come out.
Yeah, turn with the
Stotts. I'm going with the Stotts.
Right, 4:30, the big one, the Oaks. And there's no one going to be cheering louder than me for Mr. Jack Veach with his outstanding 100-1 poke anti-purse.
Yeah, you backed it.
On Soul. Yeah, I backed it. A lot shorter, though. I only took the 4s. I didn't have the foresight to follow Jack before the Musidora because I'm an idiot. But anyway, so that's now 5-2. That's probably is it about right? Because listen, on my figures, chaps, and I am a figures man. It's boring, it's nerdy, as Lorne Malvo often accused you of being a nerd. But let's be fair, it's better figures than Save the Last Dancer at Chester, but 1 6-5 and 1 5-2. I'm saying Soul Sister wins the Oaks as long as that idiot doesn't sprinkle too much ill plur on the surface, John.
I'd go along with that, basically because I think Save the Last Dance beat some of the most horrible-looking bastards I've ever seen in my life in that Chester Road.
Yeah.
I thought there were some absolute mooses in there. So, yeah, let's all give Soul Sister a shout. And if you're not already on, take a bank loan out.
Have more on.
Yeah,
exactly. But the beauty is, again, you don't.
Go see your granny. Get some money off there.
you don't have to play it tonight. You can watch the times of the first couple. You think, ooh, are they chopping loads up? It's one of them. I think 5-2 is big.
You've got cash converters in the morning, sell something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go down with the old sports bag full of cash. Yeah, go to the middle where the LGBTQ plus tent is full of drag queens with the pie.
They've got like the doings for the BLT people. Yeah,
bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, and what they're going to do with all them buggers in the pink t-shirts? They're just going to say, "Come on in, we've got a place ready for you."
Well,
maybe that was it.
We could be on a hide into nothing here with this. So,
yeah. It's a drag queen tent on the hill, apparently, according to the jockey. Yeah. They got the DJ, a couple of drag queens paraded about.
Like old times.
Yeah, let's hope there's about 450 pikeys stood watching. Anyway,
I hope none of the pages trying to bang with drag queens. That could kick off worse than it does on Saturday with animals rising. You'll see animals rising tomorrow if that happens.
Right, so Soul Sister 5-2. John, do we give Jack's 5 to follow Heartache tonight? Any chance now Sergeant Wilson's put it over 12?
Yeah, of course we do. Now is the hour and all this. But has he disheartened the horse?
Well,
Heartache tomorrow, couldn't it? Let's be fair, right? If he hadn't pissed about going to France and that, and he announced in the Racing Post and the special French preparation, Norlands, Rudos, split to the Oaks. Everybody had been saying he's very shrewd, we should back this each way. He's very shrewd, rather than the fact that, he's probably fucked this up, hasn't he, with them 2 runs in France. I'd give the horse a chance because I think it's the first race it's probably running that's actually going to suit it.
Quentin Franks.
I still think, like yourself and Jack, Soul Sister, I think it's the overpriced one at the top of the market out of the pair. Not really sure how much there are behind the top 2 in the betting, to be honest. I don't think running lines are copper bottom stayer. Heartache tonight will get the trip, but the ground kind of doubt the way she moves. Don't overly like the Lingfield Oaks form. I want to be playing in the place market the Richard Hannon trained Mammon June.
Yeah, no, yeah.
This went through its debut in heavy ground like a 7-4-7. She tanked all over the field. To be honest, they've thrown her in the deep end here though, but stamina in abundance in the page, half to Candleford, Atty per se. She's going to be 5-1, 9-2, 4 places, kind of 8s, 9s, 10s, 3 places, stuff like that. I like her a lot. I think there's a lot more to come in Watson, not a deep race. And you put one up from Hannon's, wasn't it, the other year that ran big at, I think it was the Derby, Dolly.
About 150s.
That's my in. That's how I'm going to play the race. I'm not sure about
that was those kind of as well.
Mojo Star. Yeah.
Mojo Star. That's how I'm going to be playing the race. I've had a small play on Soul Sister already. I think she's 3-1 on the machine. I still think that's overpriced on the numbers.
Hey, do
you think though we can get Quentin? Do you if you see confidently that the times aren't too bad and they're not kicking up 6 foot of turf, wouldn't you be like, I'd be piling in at 3-1 Soul Sister? If that's
it'll kind of press up like the way she moves. I know she's got heavy ground form, but you want to see her on top of the ground. I think she does. Save the last dance for toe. How many's thing he got in it? 2. Yeah, he's got 3 in it, Aidan. So he's obviously going to want to make it some semblance of a test. But
does everybody think it's a gimme that's the favourite land on the track?
No. He's kind of on and off it early at Chester, whether that was ground related or track. He could get lost in the early part, and it can easily be a long way.
This place is great if you jump into the bridle,
Which, Sister's going to do that. She's going to jump. She's going to travel.
She's done plenty in his hands. But the favourite, I wouldn't be so sure. And if you don't get the best of positions off a low draw, You could get in a bit of a mess going up the hill.
It is, because that
Fine.
people wonder why that if novice punters are listening, you're thinking, well, it's got stall 4. Obviously, the kink in the bend takes them away first before you swing back to the bend and down Tattenham Corner. So naturally, the higher numbers have the edge because the first turn is, of course, running right-handed. So if you're wondering why, I know like Adair wants from stall 1, and it's not an insurmountable task, but in general, high numbers, of course, are favoured.
For me, he's not going to be wanting to be out the front 6 when they hit that inside rail after about 3 furlongs. And if he's not in the front 6, he's going to have to sit and suffer till they come down the hill. Yeah,
exactly. That's why I don't. I know I can see the money for Save the Last Dance, but I'm not in agreement with it at all. I've not been in agreement with it since Solstice's Musidoro. So that's where we stand. Heartache tonight. We're cheering on for Jack's 5 to follow, and of course, I'm sure a few of the bastards will be having a few quid on Heartache tonight as well for the boil over. And also Quentin Franks there mentioning the hand horse Mammon Joan. Kevin Stott, if he wins the Oaks, John.
If he wins the Oaks, he'll be under extreme pressure because I've had a few quid on him in the Derby.
I thought you might have done.
Well, he was the moral winner in the Dante, you know. He would have won the Dante. Now, you think he's 100 to 1. What price would he have been if they'd made his Dante win official?
Yeah,
rather than moral.
King of Steel, a massive physical brute in the Derby. John says. They've done a stall. I can give you some information. Like they've done a stalls test. He was totally fine. Yeah, blah blah. Absolutely, they're all down.
Stotty upset him at York, didn't he? Stotty was too buzzed up. It wasn't the horse.
I think so.
You know.
Right. We've done the Oaks. 5-10 Epsom is the Surrey Stakes, where Quentin has already gone for a bet in this with He's a Monster. Gelded for the first time for Archie and Holly. They probably gelded it, John, so that Holly can hold him.
Terrible thing to say about the kid, that, isn't it?
True Shan's not got the knackers. She still can't do that.
I can't endorse those comments at all. It's a despicable thing to say.
Yeah.
But it's probably true. I don't know. Favourite looks as though it's going to run its race, but do I want to bet? Yeah, I'll probably bet Quentin's now. He's made such a good case for it.
He has. He has. I mean, look, I was obviously before prices came up, I looked at Baldwin's and I just thought, oh yeah, that'll win that. That'll just win, whole win. And then, but I was thinking 9-4, 5-2. I'm thinking that's what we're going to get. We're going to get around that.
Then we saw the silhouette of Quentin emerging from the sand dunes.
with some big tickets.
We thought this looks
tickets.
Thought this looks a significant gunslinger walking into town now.
It is. It's what he does. Yeah, some big tickets. He loves a price. Does Quentin. So yeah, that's sort of summed up from me and you. Then, Jack, anything to add on that?
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I was disappointed on Streets of Gold on reappearance, as you guys say. I think we all made a few quid off him last year. He was the one that famously got the sardine knocked off of Chaldine, didn't he? So that was and physically didn't look like he'd come on at all. Wind up since then. It doesn't smack of positive stuff anyway. I think Holguin, like you say, runs his race, probably wins this. I know he's been running an open company and getting a bit of weight, but it just smacked of a non-betting race until Mr. Franks gave the angle that we all needed, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Get on the prices as Franks is waving his tickets in the air through the sun, walking through the sand dunes, is what John says. Right, the 5:45 at Epsom is the 7 furlong handicap to finish. Davis has commented on this on Patron, and he said Urban Sprawl would be a bet if it drifted to about 8s. It's like Ender, isn't it? I mean, that's like Neville, isn't it? He's picked the cert leader, the only absolute out and out pace in the race, and he wants 8s, John.
Well, if York's favourite went out to about sevens, I'd probably chance to miss each way.
Right, who's going to kick me off of this? Well, I'll start by saying Marley Park. If you watch the last run for Dirty Boyle, it wasn't off. They were drawn wide, they dropped in, and if you watch Tom Marquand, it was only token in the closing stages. Clearly, this has been the plan.
Money for it.
Well, that's it. It's a multiple winner here. Only thing is, he misses the break and he gets behind. And, you just need probably Fanning and someone else in the race to go bananas, like Hervey. And, and create a pace scenario where Marley Park can come from off the pace. But that's my angle. I thought Marley Park, this was the race it had been laid out for. Thoughts, chaps?
Had to look beyond that one, to be honest. Urban Sprawl looks priced up right. I think the draw's awkward for that clochette. Sandcastle City's horse I've never particularly liked. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it lacks a bit of scope. It's looked kind of set to me. On the session, I think they're just trying to kill that horse. I can't believe it's run twice since your ticket. Rod Rapscallion broke me out last year getting nutted on the line at 33s.
Yeah.
And then the other heartbreaker in the race is Pocket the Profit, probably having its first experience of the Stottmeister.
Yeah. Lord Rapscallion for 80 John Player special a day, Marco Chiani.
Yes.
And a fat line of Colombian. What can you do? Join them. Quentin.
I came close to putting Urban Sprawl up as one of the best bets. I kind of thought 5-2 was about right. Time strong at the week. What was it last weekend at Goodwood? Form looks solid given the horses that were in there amongst it. No pace in the race. Tynecastle City was on the right part of the track at Newmarket. Clochette. Handicap mark looks inflated based on a steadily run. Was it listed or group race at York? Pocket of Profit. I'm not sure why they're coming back here on fast ground. Kind of thought 5-2 was about right. Urban Sprawl. If I can get 7 to 200 to 30, then I'll probably get involved. There's no other pace in the race, so 87-year-old Joe Fanning might get a solo up top.
Well, it's interesting you say that because the inner 5 stalls, Urban Sprawl 6, the inner 5 are complete dropout horses, out every time. So literally, Joe's gonna do what he wants to do. So that price could be. This could go off 7 afar. That could be it. And we're all like,
is that a real price?
7 afar. Well, Gordon Brun, Hamilton says 6 afar. Anyway, sorry about this. Jack.
Yeah, no, I think that Urban Sprawl gets an easy. Probably wouldn't back him myself unless it gets 16s or so. I think that's probably about fair. But yeah, no, we'll see if Davis gets his 8s anyway. I'm not sure that's going to happen, as you said.
He's terrible.
He is.
He's a greedy man, and he'll be on the show tomorrow, hopefully clutching his 4 points for nothing on Austrian theory.
He'll be saying, I can't believe he touched 8s on the mission.
And he's a varmint, a West Ham varmint as well. A terrible man. Right, hope you've enjoyed this. Myself, Quentin, Jack and John certainly have, and we hope we filled yourselves with a few pearls of wisdom for Oaks Friday. Let's hope Cooper doesn't ruin it. That's all from us, and we're back tomorrow with the Derby Show. Bye for now.